Hello and welcome to the third class on this Longsword course. This class is all about how to parry, but we're going to start with a gentle warm-up as usual. We're going to run through most of what you've covered already as usual because you have to have your base built before you build upon it. So we'll run through the 3 turns, the 4 guards, the 4 steps, all of that stuff, and the basic sword handling stuff you've done already, and then we're going to have a look at what changes when you introduce a partner, the beginnings of what you can start to train when you have a partner there to swing a sword at your head. So, without further ado, as usual, gently swing, take a diagnostic. Nice and relaxed, nice and easy. And swing up. And back to the middle. And relax. Ankles. Out of the way. And relax. Knees. Click. Out of the way. Open. Out of the way. And relax. Find your hips. Out of the way. And relax. Open the shoulders. Out of the way. Opposite directions. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, no squats? Really? We did them the last time and the time before. Aha. Out of the way. You think I've forgotten? Oh no. Relax. Neck. Now you are going to be being very, very gently hit in the head. So it's just as well to make sure that your neck and upper back are in reasonable condition. Because if your partner makes a bit of an over-enthusiastic whack to your head through your mask, it can irritate your neck. Nice and relaxed. Nice and easy. Okay. Drop into the bottom of a squat. Hands on the ground. Bottom of a push-up. And up. See, I hadn't forgotten. That should feel nice and comfortable and not too icky. So drop into the bottom of a squat. Sit down. Oops. Try not to break your telephone that's recording audio while you do it. Now, with your legs straight, I'll show you this from the side because it's probably easier for you to see. Your legs straight and your back straight. Just lean back until your legs float off the ground. So you're holding things here and keeping everything nice and relaxed. While you're here, you can wriggle and relax your wrists. And you can wiggle and relax your legs. And bring them in. Nice and relaxed, nice and easy. You can see this best from the front. And through. Careful of the audio recording telephone. And gently stretch up. And back. And up. Gently swing. See how that feels. It should feel marvelous. Okay. Now, I want you to go through the 4 steps, the 3 turns, and the 4 guards without me showing them to you. Go. Welcome back. Okay, I will show you the 4 guards drill. So, just go through the 4 guards drill, nice and relaxed, nice and easy, nice and deep, nice and slow, nice and smooth. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you want to become quick in the end, you start out slow and smooth in the beginning. So, 4 guards drill, go practice that. Welcome back. Now, let us re-establish our relationship with the weapon. And remember, the sword is a labor-saving device. It should be a natural and comfortable extension of your arm. So to help you get to that place, we have all of these sword handling exercises and whatnot. So just to start with, let's have the up, down, around, around. Make it nice and relaxed, nice and smooth, nice and easy. And on the other side. Okay, for left-handers. That's one side. That's the other. Okay, practice that. Welcome back. Now, part 1 of the cutting drill. I'll show it to you again. It begins, so I'll show it left-handed because the left-handers don't get nearly enough love. So, begins in posta di donna, maduro fendente, denti cinghiaro, thrust, chamber, maduro fendente di posta longa, change sides, reverso fendente, di porta di ferro, thrust into posta longa. Don't turn around unless you have to. Chamber, reverso fendente into posta longa, and that's the end of part 1. So start again. Get the idea? Okay, practice this. Welcome back. Now, we're going to have a look at the thorny problem of how to hit your partner in the head without doing them any damage. In a perfect world, you would be able to do this with no protection and sharp swords, and no one would ever get cut. However, unless you are under my direct personal supervision with me there in the room with you, I want you always to be wearing masks whenever you do anything pair on pair. We will not always demonstrate that because talking to the camera, I need to, you need to be able to see my face. I need to be able to speak to you. So I don't wear a mask nearly as often as I should. But please, whenever there's a sword coming towards your head, have a mask on it just in case. So, first things first, you must salute your partner. And the way you do this is you come on guard, you bring the sword up to your face, and then you put the sword down. That informs your partner that they have your undivided attention, and it informs you that you have theirs. So you know that you are beginning to practice. Okay? It's important to delineate the beginning and the end of pair practice because it helps eliminate accidents. Now, Zoe takes any guard she chooses to wait in. Go ahead. She has chosen to the Porta di Ferro. Good choice. Now, there are two things that are new here, having a partner standing there, even one standing completely still. Number one is the distance that I have to strike at is determined by her position. And I want to be striking with this section of my sword about there on her head. So the first thing is measure. If I'm too far away, it doesn't work. If I'm too close, it doesn't work, or it doesn't work as well. So the first thing is measure. Secondly, I am now morally responsible for her safety. Okay? So I must make sure, first, that I'm in measure. So you start like this, leave this foot where it is, and take a full pass back, and then strike in such a way that you are just simply placing the sword on the mask. You need the contact to be certain of the measure, but she shouldn't really feel it. Now listen to see if you can hear the sword hitting the mask. Okay? And you can try this with every blow that you know. Now, with a thrust, you tend to aim it at the mesh, and it gets very, very annoying to have your head knocked back repeatedly. So again, this is the beginnery basic level. Keep the power out of it for now. We will get to power later. So from any guard you like, make your thrust. You know already how to thrust from these two positions, but if you think about it, you can probably thrust from posta di donna too. Okay? And all the while, remember you're leading with the weapon. So once you've had a bit of a practice, you make sure your mask goes on, and your partner gets to do the same thing. There we go. Now I'm relaxed. Okay, and when you're done, you salute your partner so they know you're done, and then off comes the mask. Now, I'm going to keep my mask off for now because I'm going to be explaining a lot of stuff. Zoe will keep hers on. Okay. The fundamental problem that swordsmanship is trying to solve is your opponent's weapon is coming towards you. What do you do about it? And the most common, the standard response is a parry of some kind. Now, in medieval swordsmanship, and Fiore is explicit about how to do this, you beat the weapon away with the middle of your sword against the middle of theirs. So if Zoe's sword is sticking out, okay, this is the sword coming towards me, okay, this would give me lots of leverage, but it exposes my hands to risk. This would give me no leverage, and she would just hit me. Middle to middle gives me a nice sort of safety zone. Anywhere in here is okay, but it also gives me enough power to knock the weapon out of the way. I can't hit very hard with this bit. I can hit much harder with this bit. This is a compromise between them, okay? And this is generally true in medieval swordsmanship. You will aim your parries middle to middle. Now, the bit of the sword that you cut with is the edge, as if you were like whittling sticks, okay? It's the edge of the sword, okay? The true edge faces away from you, and the false edge faces towards you. So you have false edge, true edge, point, pommel, crossguard, and handle. Holding the sword like so, if I take, for example, Dente Shingaro, if Zoe gently sends her sword to my head, what I want to do is hit it out of the way with the most natural motion coming from that position. And if we pause the moment of contact, it's my false edge cutting up middle to middle against the flat of her sword. Okay? So, as Zoe comes to strike, I parry and strike. Okay? And again. Okay. Now, This action is described in Fiore's book extremely precisely, and he tells us to step the front foot out of the way while we do this. He also tells us to pass in, but that takes us to a place we're not ready to go yet, so we'll just stick to this step to the side of the front foot. It's called an accrescimento, so a step forwards, fuori di strada, out of the way. So the front foot shifts out of the way. Okay? If I stand on this line, you'll see that my foot begins on the line. As I make the action, I parry, my foot shifts out of the line by about 16 inches or so, and I strike. And as I strike, my back foot comes around to support it. So it looks like this. Okay? Zoe comes to strike. I parry and strike. Okay? Zoe comes to strike. I parry and strike. Okay. Let's try this from the other side. Zoe comes to strike. I parry and strike. And again, I parry and strike. Okay. Left-handed dente cinghiaro. Zoe's right-handed, so she would strike in her natural way, and I will follow the rules exactly. I parry it with the false edge, as I would. Go ahead. Like so. Okay? So from here, I parry, stepping out of the way, and strike just as I would. And if she was left-handed, she'd probably be striking from the other shoulder, and it would look exactly as a mirror image of... Go ahead. Okay? But an important thing to think about is you should be practicing your way of doing it. So right-handers do the strike that's natural for you. Left-handers do the strike that's natural for you. It is not wrong, if your partner is left-handed, for you to strike a reverso instead. Okay? Just to make their life a bit easier, because it is somewhat easier to parry from this side against a blow that's coming to the same side. Go ahead. Like so. Okay? But the important thing is that you parry middle to middle, edge to flat, and you beat their weapon out of the way. Practice this. Keep it slow, keep it relaxed, keep it calm, and for God's sake, don't try and catch each other out yet. That's coming much later. So, go practice this, and I'll see you in a minute. Bye-bye. Welcome back. Now, if I am chambered on the right-hand side, I'm going to strike a mandritto blow of some description, and instead of being done with the false edge, as we do from dente cinghiaro, it's going to be done from the true edge, or with the true edge. So we'll start this from, let's start it from posta di donna, because that's probably your most natural striking position anyway. So, as Zoe comes to strike, okay, I do exactly the same thing in principle. As it comes towards me, slow, nice and slow, I cut middle to middle, and with my edge, I'm cutting through the flat of her sword. And this gets her weapon out of the way and allows me to strike. So the way I want you to do this, nice and relaxed, nice and easy, is with a side step. So instead of passing straight forward, which gets you too close, you step out of the way, and you end up here. Again. And for our purposes right now, just leave your point gently in their face. Like so. Okay? Let's see that from the other side. Okay? For a left-hander, parrying from posta di donna, on their chamber for a mandritto, so on their left shoulder, as my right-handed friend comes to strike a mandritto, I beat it out the way and I strike. Now, it's important not to do this too quickly, because if you end up, come and strike, if you end up being a bit enthusiastic about it, you might belt them on the hands. You must aim your parry here. The reason you don't want to go for this is because it's not necessarily going to work and it's not necessarily going to stop the blow. You need to commit to getting that sword out of your face. Again, slowly. Okay? And if they're left-handed, or striking a reversal as a right-hander, doesn't really matter. Come and strike. There it is. Okay? Now notice where I'm stepping. It's diagonally out of the way. And I end up here. Okay? Outside. One more. Okay. Go slowly, go carefully, and parry middle to middle, edge to flat with a nice clean blow. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. There is one more thing I would like to cover on this class, and that's doing the parry from the right from a low guard. And the reason is, it is the beginning of one of the foundational drills of the syllabus as I have set it. So, what you're going to be doing, from a relaxed and comfortable to the porta di ferro, you're going to parry with a rising blow, a sottano, done with the true edge against the flat of your partner's sword, and you're going to step out of the way and strike. Okay? So it's going to go parry and strike. Nice and relaxed, nice and easy. So Zoe comes to strike, I parry, and I get out of the way and I strike. I'm striking over her arm, so I'm super careful, and then I'm running it into the chest. The reason for that is how Fiore says to do it in the book. We're going to get onto the specifics of the book later. For now, just do it this way because I'm telling you to. Okay? And from the other side. And notice where I'm stepping. Out of the way. The parry is done standing still. And I step out of the way to strike. Nice and relaxed, nice and easy. Thank you, Zoe. So, in this class, we've covered the fundamentals of defense. Parrying with the edge of your sword, cutting your opponent's weapon out of the way, middle to middle, edge to flat. Okay? This is your default thing to do whenever there's a sword coming towards you. You parry. Okay? We will look at in the next class, we will look at what you should do when your opponent, who you are trying to hit in the head with your sword, what you should do when they parry. Okay? But for now, I want you to, you and your partner need to get completely comfortable with these basic parries and the basic idea behind parries, so when we're countering them, the parry doesn't collapse. So, practice this, get comfortable with it, and I will see you on the next class. Cheerio.